Los Angeles. Hello, fans of Major League Soccer. Hello, lovers of the black and gold. And hello to the millions
and millions
of Defenders of the Bank listeners. This is episode 367 of the LAFC show your mother warned you about. I stole that line from my partner in pod. And to be honest, I feel like that would have been something more appropriate years ago, when we were in single digits of episodes, back when we would come on and record late after a night of drinking out of shoes and out of cups, rather than these old man days. We are far tamer now than we used to be. Perhaps the shoey needs to make a return, but I don't know. We have gotten softer in our older age compared to the insanity that was once prevalent. Nevertheless, my name is Christian Philemon, better known as Philly, the platinum-haired Flamengo, and as you can see, coming to you live from world-famous Philomonster Studios in Burbank, California, and a mere 37 miles away, or in Los Angeles driving terms, about 6 hours, from my partner in pod who was sitting in front of his world-famous scarf wall. I give you the Prince of Polyester, the Tyrant of Threads, the Nobleman of Neckwear, the Sultan of Shaws, the Baron of Boas, and the Aristocrat of Ascots, La Bufanda himself, J.R. Liebert, the
Scarf. It's me. What is good, Defenders faithful? You're going to hear from an oft-quoted movie here on Defenders of the Bank a little bit later in the podcast. But how good did it feel to score? Yeah, I know we gave up one right after, but that match against Flamengo, the soccer gods were smiling on LAFC in that one for sure, as the woodwork had more work to do than anybody else inside the stadium.
I blessed him with a name scarf. You'll learn about that later.
I can't wait to hear this. And yes, my friend, it is good to be doing this alongside of you in beautiful, world-famous Philomonster Studios. You guys know what we like to do on these episodes. We will do a very quick This Day in LAFC history and news and notes as they all come together. As they usually do here. I usually like to pick the news and notes and the This Day in LA's history that have something to do with each other. We'll certainly see that. But Philly, again, look, my apologies to all of the Defenders faithful because I spent the entire day lugging second and third and fourth graders around Magic Mountain. So I don't know what I look like or what kind of voice I have, but I'm spent.
Well, I can tell you what you look like on a regular occasion, but unfortunately, you want to keep this family-friendly moniker. You say that this is the LAFC show your mom warned you about, yet I can't swear. One of these days, we're going to open the lid off and make this NSFW, and I can't wait for that day to happen. The youngins that have listened to us for the last several years are about that age where they can hear the words that you will possibly hear on TNT and TBS. So it's only a matter of time before those floodgates open. Scarf, our time in the FIFA Club World Cup has come to an end. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you may have interpreted it, I don't view it in the most negative fashion, as I've seen a lot of people on social media bantering about. Could it have been better? Sure. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. But as we saw with Auckland City, even the sun can shine on one FIFA Club World Cup's competitors' back. And it certainly shined on us. And it's shining on our one player that's made it to the All-Star game. There's a few things to discuss here. We'll obviously unwind and unwrap this game. And then in a few short days, we get back to BMO Stadium. It seems like it's been forever and a day since we got to be in our favorite part of one of our favorite parts of Los Angeles to take on the Vancouver Whitecaps, which normally I would say blah, but this is a really good Vancouver team, and I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Look, if you don't know what Philly was referencing, by the way, a team of guys who also play soccer for Auckland City took on one of the world's great clubs. I'm going to say it. They are. They absolutely are. In Boca Juniors. And drew 1-1. Auckland City drew Boca Juniors 1-1. Boca Juniors outshot Auckland City 41-3. 41-3. And if you don't believe in the soccer gods, I just point to Auckland City. It was absolutely incredible. We will talk at the end of our recap of the Flamengo match about LAFC in the Club World Cup. We both have feelings on it. And I know for sure. A lot of you in the chat have feelings on it. We expect to hear from all of you. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Just be prepared for sometimes Philly and sometimes Scarf and sometimes both of us to disagree with you in the chat. As long as you're okay with that and we're all grown-up boys and girls, then we can do it. Quick, this day in LAFC history, and of course, news and notes. If you're listening to this today live, or actually, if you're listening to this today live, it's June 25th, 2025. But the day of the match was yesterday, June 24th. And on June 24th, 2019.
Sorry. I thought that was kind of fun.
Right? June 24th, 2019, both Diego Rossi and Mark Anthony Kaye were added to the 2019 MLS All-Star team. Carlos Vela and Walker Zimmerman were already named, so that gave LAFC 4 All-Stars in 2019. And today's date, the 25th, back in 2018, the first ever pair of LAFC All-Stars were named. And of course, it was our captain at the time, Laurent Simon, and Carlos Vela, named to the All-Star Fan 11, our first 2 All-Stars in team history. And we talk about that, Philly, because of our news today with the what seemed obvious to us, and we're glad it happened, the 3rd year in a row, 2023, 2024, and now 2025. Denny Bawanga, Philly, named an All-Star to the surprise of absolutely no one.
3rd consecutive selection, making him one of only 4 players on this year's All-Star squad to have been named to an All-Star team 3 or more times. The guy is only our 2nd leading scorer in club history, and that will soon change. Leading LAFC in scoring this season as well, with 8 goals and 5 assists over the course of 16 regular season matches, and is on the verge of becoming the first player in Major League Soccer history to score 20 regular season goals in 3 consecutive seasons, 82 goals across all competitions, and he wasn't a coach's pick. He got voted in. Congratulations, Denny Bawanga, the only player from the LA area that has made the All-Star game, because as you saw Juan's comment in the chat, there is no member of the other team down the 110, no representation whatsoever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't representation in terms of players that once donned their black and gold kits. Scarf, I know you had a note about one, but I have to mention the coach's selection from Nashville SC, El Papel himself, Andy Nahar. Andy Nahar defenders. You remember how badly we used to clown him on this podcast, saying this man was straight up made of paper? Well, now he's in the All-Star game, so the joke's on us. Andy Nahar did not compete well with LAFC. Well enough, though, to earn a coach's selection to head on down to Austin and to play against the Liga MX All-Stars. But he's not the only one that was once a member of LAFC that is on the All-Star team. Scarf, who's the other guy? In fact, the other guy we're going to see this week.
We mentioned one of them as being an all-star for us in 2019, Diego Rossi, back in the all-star game for Columbus. And obviously, we're super excited to have Tristan Blackman at the all-star game as well, a player who we all still love, even though he played a very little bit of time with LAFC in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, Philly, he's played really well this season, but I was still shocked to see El Papel, Andy Nahar, named to the All-Star team. Kudos to Andy Nahar, because you sucked with LAFC, but you're playing a lot better now. And again, I think, who was it that said it? Was it Ruben? Ruben said it in the chat already, but I already have this in my notes, Ruben. I would like to take this time to stump somehow if somebody gets hurt for Sergi Palencia. Sergi Palencia has been one of the best defenders in MLS over the last 2 years, and I just don't know how this guy didn't get more love. I just don't think enough people know about him outside of LAFC, to be honest, but the dude is a baller and somebody to watch at the All-Star game, you guys. And this isn't an LAFC player, but Philly and I think we would agree, actually, on our one player. If we had to pick like a name, like, check this guy out, because you're not going to be able to see him for very much longer. Patrick Agmayang of Charlotte FC is an all-star, and all he's done is score and score and score for the U.S. men's national team. You might be seeing this kid in red, white, and blue in 2026 when the U.S. men's national team fix their final roster for the World Cup. Philly, anybody else stand out for you, or are you pretty much on the same page with me with Agmayang?
Look, yes, I am on the same page with you there, but I mean, going through this list of players that got picked, two names. I mean, I'm happy for Diego Luna. I actually really like him as a player. Not a fan of his tattoos. I feel like he could have done a better job picking a different artist for his tattoos, but I'm very happy for him and how he's ascended up the talent pool. Sebastian Berhalter, though, that's one that was interesting, and it wasn't a coach's choice. He was voted in. Baby Berhalter, man, Vancouver's got some representation at the MLS All-Star game. We mentioned Tristan Blackman and one of my favorite strikers for years, Brian White. He's on there as well. We'll see. I kind of dig this Liga MX MLS All-Star thing, but now with how big this league has gone, I think it only makes sense. And by the way, that is a turd if I've ever seen one. The whitest turd I've ever seen. No thought, no innovation going into that whatsoever. It looks like somebody took a Hanes beefy t-shirt and drew a little bit on it. The MLS All-Star kit this season lacks inspiration and creativity. It is dull. Think about some of the kits that we'd seen in the past. Minnesota, LA, Orlando had a dope one, the purple kit with the Target logo. This, if I can say a swear word, not in a language that's not English, I'll say it in German. Scheiße, I'll say it in Spanish. Mierda. I hate this kit.
It's terrible. It just reminds me of that meme. What the hell is even that? Like that's what we came up with. We're now not, I mean, I hope there's going to be a Target logo in the middle of it or something. I actually am
about hoping, the poop emoji.
I mean, Philly, I'm hoping for a Target logo in the middle of our jersey. What does that tell you? Like, this is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And thank you, Fluffhead, mentioning the thing that's most important. There's no way I could ever wear that kit anywhere. Absolutely not. Can't do it. No way that's ever going to happen. Super disappointed. I'm so upset at this jersey. Philly, I think the one where, let me see if I can find it. Give me one. Oh, it's not going to pull up. Never mind. I downloaded the wrong kind of file. Oh, well. Look, it's
David, if you don't care, I mean, you could easily see yourself out of the dialogue. I mean, we've got the microphone, so you will listen to every damn word we have to say.
No, David's one of us. David loves us. We're fine. We're all good. David's good. But man, it's absolutely boo-boo, this All-Star.
It is. It really is.
And look, the reason why I care is because let's say our guy wins All-Star Game MVP. I'm getting one with their name on the back of it. Like, I'm going to do it. So that's why we care about these. I've tried twice, 2 different files, and I'm 0 for 2. So anyways, that's the All-Star kit. It's terrible. Just want to remind everybody that starting at 7 o'clock, which is an hour and 20 minutes ago, LAFC 2 is taking on Minnesota United 2 at Titan Stadium. If you were going to the match, you're late because it started an hour and 20 minutes ago. So we'll hopefully give you an update on that match by the end of the show. Their next match is Sunday, June 29th, which is the same day as an LAFC match. But you could theoretically go to the LAFC 2 match at 1 o'clock and then get to BMO at 6:30 and see two matches in one. But I don't know that you'll do that. As a reminder, for all your Angel City needs, please be sure to listen to Angel City Chicks and follow them and Philly. Just 14 minutes in. Not terrible. King Lechero. I'm so glad you talked about this. King Lechero, here's the deal. I talked about it on our last episode, or was it on One More Sleep? I can't remember anymore. If whoever scored, we're going to be donating that dollar amount to the Mo Facio Futsal Court for me, and then Philly's going to be donating it to the King Jabo Foundation, which is pretty cool. I'm going to July 1st. I will post on our page on our Twitter my donation. So that'll be happening July 1st because that's when my next paycheck comes in, and that's when I'll have a little extra money. So
are you sure you're going to be able to use some of that and not, blow the load on trading cards? We did have the NBA draft today, after all. But yeah, look, we could go off on a tangent very easily. Let's not do that.
No, listen, I'm donating my $99 on July 1st. Happy to do it. Let's see how many others. Always
a rough day for me to do that, Scarf. It's when my mortgage payment for my house in Burbank goes out. The first of every month is always a very grueling one for me.
I hear that for sure. Lechero, thank you for reminding us absolutely about that. July 1st, I'll post it up. Hit me up. We'll see. They do that Monterrey Red Diamond game was fun for sure.
Yeah, Monterrey moves on 4-0. They absolutely whooped up on the Reds. But shout out to their traveling support. That was pretty cool. Inter beat River Plate today 2-0. River Plate sustained a red card. Fluminense tied. Mamelodi Sundowns put in a good performance. But look, all 4 Brazilian teams in the round of 16. And yes, let's not forget Dortmund too. Looking forward to tomorrow. We got some good games, Scarf. Juve and Man City. That's obviously the game I'm looking forward to the most. Some probably with Al Hilal and Pachuca. RB Salzburg out of Austria. Good eye, mate. Haha, Dumb and Dumber reference. Taking on Real Madrid. And I'm forgetting one.
I'd have to go back.
It'll come to me. But the round of 16, right around the corner with the games beginning on January the 28th. Can't believe we're starting to fly through this FIFA Club World Cup as quickly as we have. But we're out of it. So now we can put the focus on MLS. Our season starts in the next couple of days. Restarts, I should say. So,
and we will definitely get to that after we recap. Look, they showed Felipe Luis on the sideline. That guy looks incredible. He's young. He's tall.
Scarf's got a man crush.
Dude, 39-year-old Brazilian leading the way for one of the world's best clubs in Flamengo. He took over Flamengo in September 2024 after playing in the Club World Cup for Flamengo in 2023. And, oh, by the way, in 2020. All he did was play 333 matches in his career for Atletico Madrid, another 176 for Flamengo, an absolute baller at left back for his career. And, oh, by the way, has coached Flamengo in 47, now 48 matches and has lost just 3. Lost just 3. He's only drawn 12, but we're one of the 12 out of those, so that's pretty good. He's only allowed 24 goals in those 47 matches prior. So, look, a feather in our cap for sure for finally getting the goal. They're first currently in Brasileiro Serie A after 11 matches, 7 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. In those 11 matches, they've given up 4 goals. 4. That's it. 4 goals. 24 goals scored. That's a plus 20. I did the math. But they only finished 3rd last season. They actually got into this by winning the Copa Libertadores in 2022 is how we got to play them. So that was fun. They come out in a 4-2-3-1, and I was really excited. I can't wait, Philly, when you get into the lineup for LAFC, because I was kind of excited to see what would happen with that lineup. The 4-2-3-1, very good keeper who wasn't tested at all in this match with Agustin Rossi. The back line of Guillermo Varela, Danilo, who was, Danilo's great, and I had so much fun watching Danilo. Thank you, Nathan Ordaz, for the LAFC 2 update, currently leading 1-0. Leo Ortiz and Alex Sandro round out the back line. Everton Araujo and Alan in the midfield. The former Atlanta United man, Luis Araujo, along with, Philly. How much would it take to get this guy into? Would he be making the same $20 million maybe that Messi would be? I don't know. Jean de Arrascaeta, talk about a great player. Everton and Pedro rounding out the 11. We had Michael, Bruno Henrique, Wallace, Flippin' Jan, Matias Vina, Jorginho, and Juninho rounding out the substitutes. That's 6 substitutes, which does mean the Marlon substitution that we'll talk about was a concussion substitution. With that, Philly, what a lineup, what a formation. Let's talk about it with LAFC.
You talk about Marlon, who honestly at one point, I'd say he was our best player within that first half, no question about it. One of the keys to the game that we talked about yesterday was that LAFC really needed to control the midfield in this because Flamengo would be a possession-heavy team, and they were a possession-heavy team. They opted, rather than going into a 4-3-3, to pick the game up in a 3-4-3, really just overloading that midfield. Hugo Lloris, who gets snubbed, quite honestly, for the All-Star game, over guys like Brad Stuver and the rest of the list.
Now, Philly, hold on. Who picked the All-Star team coaches' picks?
Yeah, I get it. Yes, I get it.
That's why. Nico Estevez, Austin's coach, is picking the coach's pick, so he took his own
get it, but still, it's a snub to me. Hugo Lloris gets a start for LAFC. Marlon Aaron Long and Eddie Segura would make up your 3 defenders. Sergi Palencia, Igor Jesus, Marky Delgado, who almost struck first blood, and Ryan Hollingshead in that midfield. Dilrosun getting the start. That was a surprise to me, but then again, got to utilize him as much as we can, right? Denny Bouanga and David Martinez, who did not have a great FIFA Club World Cup, I will tell you that. Artem Smolyakov, Olivier Giroud, who might be on his way back to France, thanks to our buddy Tom Bogart's comments. Timothy Tillman, Frankie Amaya would be the other LAFC players to get some playing time. And Scarf, the one player who we haven't mentioned that was really the most integral part of this game for LAFC and in some cases for Flamengo was number 000, Wall-E Post. Yes, that's right. Wally Post. He was the most significant player of the game yesterday. He had more action and more touches than so many of the players between both sides. Wally Post, the unsung hero, the player of the game. There's your spoiler alert.
I love it so much. Whoa, things just got weird. I don't know what's happening on my computer right now.
Oh boy, this is lovely. We're all 21 minutes in, and we thought we were off to a good start, and things are going weird on your computer. See, that's what happens when you go on these websites that put bots and spyware on your computer. I'll leave that to your imagination, defenders.
I didn't do that. I didn't, not at all.
What kind of underground scarf swapping websites have you gone on?
No. Listen, I do all my scarf trading on the open market, not the black market. So, yeah. I love what people are saying too. Scarf Hub.
That's the comment of the month right now. That's got to be a defender shirt. Scarf Hub.
Done. I'm calling Dexter after this episode.
No, my Philly 316 shirt still needs to come out first. We've been saying that's bloody brilliant. Fluffhead needs to get a nickel, actually a quarter for every sale that happens. Scarf Hub is perfect.
Fluffhead is getting one for free. Fluffhead, DM me on Twitter, LAFC_the scarf, and I'm gonna get you one of those when we make it. We have to absolutely do it. Oh my goodness, that. Oh. Sorry, that took a second out of my life, and that was one of the best things ever. That was. We've already gone completely off the rails on this episode.
That's what happens when you got two people who squirrel.
Right? Oh my God. Real quick, not to be confused with Wally Post.
Oh yes, of the Cincinnati Redlegs. By the way, defenders, I learned this in my electives class at Indiana University. The history of American sport. The very first professional team in the United States, the Cincinnati Red Stockings baseball team.
Yeah, 1870s, right? Something like that.
No, yeah, I think so. I would have to double check the year, but I didn't realize. See, Wally Post spells his name differently than Wall-E Post. So it'd be Wall and E dot is his middle name for Edward and Post. Wall Edward Post.
If you've turned off defenders because of this, I'm sorry, you're missing out.
Well, we've already lost a couple people, so I mean, I don't give a crap.
We for sure have tonight. Look, you know what? That's why we get to do this show. We have a lot of fun. Look, in the first 13 minutes, your favorite player, Wally Post. I mean, look, corner kick by De La Scaeta, who this guy is so good. I spent the entire match watching him. I don't even know how any.
Is he your second man crush now on this team? So you got the head coach and De Arrascaeta?
Listen, not a man crush. The dude is an absolute baller. So much fun to watch.
2.9 million a year he earns, by the way, to Flamengo.
How much a year?
2.9. Gabriel Barbosa is the highest paid player on that squad.
LAFC, he's making 2.9 million. Give him 5 and get him over here right now. This guy is incredible. De Arrascaeta is unbelievable. Great corner kick to the back post to my favorite player coming into this. I really wanted to see how Danilo did, and Danilo puts it off the far post. I'm not sure how he missed it. It was being defended pretty well, but it was just a perfect ball. And then Philly, I know Marky Delgado has a long and storied career in Major League Soccer. I don't know that I knew he had that particular club in his bag like that, though. Beautiful shot by Marky.
Yeah, and it just missed the upper right corner. Wally Post switching sides like David Beckham did in that friendly between AC Milan and the LA Galaxy. Wally Post operating as a double agent in the match, although he would be more of a he would be more on our side than Flamenco's side. But that was a very close call. It would have been an unbelievable opportunity for LAFC to have struck that quickly, that early. I mean, we could really go. I mean, we had a scary moment otherwise, though, in the first half when Hugo Lloris went down after he collided. I think it was with Eddie Segura. And it just so happened that, well, Wally Post was part of that play as well. How Flamengo missed out on that opportunity with Hugo Lloris down on the deck, not able to make any saves is beyond me. Part of me was thinking at that point that we might actually have a chance in this game, that the soccer gods would bless us, considering that Flamengo really held the lion's share of possession. I don't think we played against a team that has controlled a first half as much as Flamengo did. 70%, man, more than doubling us on passes. So many set piece opportunities, 9 shots in the first half, but only one of them being on target. They really gave it to us in that first half. We got lucky to not go into the locker room black and blue, courtesy of the red and black.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I know we just played Chelsea. I think, personally, in a competitive match, I think this Flamengo team, in our 8-year history, is the best club that we've ever played, period.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd be hard-pressed to find a club who, in the form that they're in, right? Like right now, they are in form. I talked about it in the Brasileiro Serie A. They have given up 4 goals in 11 matches. They've scored 24. They are in amazing form. They had come in beating Chelsea after going down 1-0 and beating Esperance. So I think, personally, my thought on this Flamengo club is that this is the best club LAFC has ever played in a competitive match, and they played it as competitively as they chose to, sitting 4 starters on yellow card accumulation, and they still looked amazing in this match. Philly, I counted definitely 4, maybe 5 guys offside, by the way, in the goal that was called back, so that was kind of a bummer. Easy call. And I do want to talk about one other thing in the first half, Philly. Was that maybe a penalty, a foul by Marlon in the box right before halftime? It looked like he swept the leg a little bit there, and LAFC got kind of lucky on VAR.
Nope, didn't see it.
Okay, fine. All right, so look, you mentioned it, 0-0. Neither team with a shot on target in the half. But my favorite stat of the half, touches in the opposing box. Giggity. Touches in the opposing box. LAFC in the first half had 1. Flamengo had 18. 18-1 touches in the opposing box. Ruben, yes, the whole team was pretty much offside. And unfortunately, Philly, like we had talked about, it was a concussion substitution for Marlon at the half. And that is why Flamengo used all 6 of their subs. But what I liked about this, Philly, is it needed Sergi Palencia now to move to right center back, not right back, as he was now the 3rd guy of the center back trio. And Ryan Hollingshead moving over to the right side, Artem Smolyakov moving to the left side. So it was kind of fun to see Sergi Palencia and Ryan Hollingshead for a lot of the half playing next to each other. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, but I mean, it hurts us to lose somebody like Marlon because he did have a very good game for LAFC. Great. I mean, up until Denny scored the goal, I would say Marlon was our best player. Very, very good defensively. Obviously, scored a nice header, but half his team was offside. That didn't count. Losing him kind of sucked in the grand scheme of it all. But coming out of the half, we looked okay. We looked a little better. At 57th minute, we had a scenario where we dissected Flamengo's defense quite nicely. Denny gets it to the right, and then he cuts into the box. Eventually, he would shoot it near side, but the referee would blow the whistle for foul. If you kind of look at the sequence, had he gone in closer to draw another defender, he did have Ryan Hollingshead in a better position to have a better look at goal. Dilrosun was also open, although it had a much more difficult shot. Either way, Denny was called offside. Flamengo with a nice run, not right afterwards. Nice shot gets fired off by Everton, but our boy, Scarf, Wally Post, 000 Wally Post would help. Actually, he wasn't a part of that, but he let Hugo Lloris contribute in a supporting role in that case. But Wally Post, baby. Damn, what a
Ugo's
game.
been great. Ugo's been great for us. I look, by the way, I completely agree with you that Ugo was a snub, but that one's on Estevez, Brad Stuver, and he's never going to apologize for that for sure. So it was a 60-minute shift for Dilrosun, and Olivier Giroud comes on and is promptly down and hobbling from a tough tackle, says commentator Jordan Angeli, who was a very good player in the NWSL in her own right. And another easy save by Ugo. And then in the 70th minute, so Philly, is it still Wally Post if it's the crossbar?
Yeah, I mean, Wally Post makes up all of it.
All right, so
we had another guy last season. What was it, like PFW Woodwork or something like that?
Yeah, I gotta go back and look. But in the 70th minute, look, Deanna Skates could have had 3 goals in this match easily and an assist. I don't know how he missed the one with Ugo down, by the way. He was trying to score 4 goals with the one shot. He put everything he had into it, and it pinged as hard as it possibly could off the crossbar in the first half. And this one again off the crossbar and down in the second half. Unbelievable. And then Philly, hope, 71st minute. They sub off De Arrascaeta and Araujo up top. They're 2 best offensive players in the match. Yes, I know they subbed on Bruno Henrique and then very good players. I get it. But I was watching De Arrascaeta the entire match. And when he came off, I thought to myself, Philly, if there's just a way now that we can get something going, because you mentioned that 57th minute with Denis Bouanga, that is literally all for our offense up until this point in the match in the second half. And we looked terrible offensively, but couldn't get anything going forward. We bring on Timothy Tillman for Philly. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm nearing being done with David Martinez and his pouting and his just whole, just his body, what am I trying to say? What's the
You don't like his body language.
Body language. God, that term was not. I spent all day at Magic Mountain. I'm exhausted, guys.
Yeah,
body language.
Yeah,
body language. I couldn't think of body language. How tired am I right now?
You are.
Body language. Philly, I'm almost done with the 20-year-old.
Real quick, I just want to address David Day's question about will the players strike for 2026. The current Major League Soccer Players Association, the collective bargaining agreement will not allow that to happen. MLS and the Major League Soccer Players Association, no strike, no lockout clause. So strike will not be an option, just to address that. Now, let's see here. Yes, dare to skip. 84th minute, Scarf. Finally, we had an opportunity. Yeah, what?
Can I play it? Can I play it?
Oh, you don't want to do it after I say it?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean,
No, go.
All right. I'll go through this quick. And then, yes, I know you're giddy. I know you're feeling froggy, but hold on, Tadpole. Don't jump just yet. Finally, we get a goal. Set piece scenario off of Timmy T, my player to watch. The brilliant dish served on a silver platter. And Denis, Megs Flamenco's keeper, Rossi, for the goal. He didn't get to celebrate immediately because he looked back instantly at the sideline official to make sure the flag wasn't up. And we got a goal. And Scarf, roll the videotape.
We got one!
I'll tell you about a little town I know.
That's all I could think of. I was so happy. We got one. We scored at the Club World Cup, and it was Denis Bouanga. Philly, I mean, look, let's talk about it right now. How stupid, how dumb do you have to be? And I'm calling all of you out. If you are going to complain about Denis Bouanga, I just don't understand it. You can complain about other players, please. I'm complaining about David Martinez. I've complained about Timothy Tillman, Olivier Giroud, lots of other players this season. And yes, sure, there are times when he should have passed instead of shoot. And there are times where he should have shot instead of passed. But come on. Philly, I know you 100% agree, but either way, how you can dislike or think that he needs to go. Denis Bouanga is the only thing, I repeat, the only thing keeping LAFC afloat offensively. The only thing.
I agree. You got to be a moron to say that Denny needs to go, because if Denny goes, who do you think is going to score a damn goal for our flipping team? Nobody has the heart on the squad, or has in years, that Denny Bouanga possesses. Just watch him for one game, and it's very clear and evident that here's the guy who constantly plays until the whistle gets blown. He gives it his all. He bleeds for the crest. Do we not hear that constantly, that we want players that bleed for the crest? This guy bleeds for the crest. Who else? I challenge you to tell me one other player on this team that bleeds for this crest more than Denny Bouanga does. He goes, we're done. Absolutely done. And apparently the rumors have been debunked about him going to Club America. And by the way, again, when you see all that stuff during silly season, we've talked about it time and time again. Could be rumors that the agents plant trying to test the waters. It needs to come from some pretty darn reputable sources. And blue check marks, as we know, doesn't necessarily indicate a damn thing, because hell, I got a blue check mark myself. But I do know things. We don't comment on breaking news on this, but when there's rumor mills happening, whether it be a certain guy from Germany possibly coming here, a certain Denny Bouanga going to Club America, oh, defenders, we know. We just don't tell you all the time. Should we? Maybe, but we like to hold some things for ourselves. This guy is going to be our all-time scorer, Denny Bouanga. And he has the green light. He does these things because he's been given the green light to fire at will. Why? Because chances are he will score or create a chance, or maybe even find a scenario where there's a rebound off of a save that somebody else can put in the back of the net. Nobody can score like Denny Bouanga. If you think Denny Bouanga is a problem, we don't want Denny Bouanga out. We want you out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I do want to address one thing in all seriousness about what Ruben just said. Bouanga needs to be captain. I actually don't want that, and I'll tell you why. I want Denis Bouanga to focus on being the offensive machine that he has been. I don't want him also addressing the referee because he's the only one allowed to with the captain's armband, or doing any of those other ancillary things. I just want him to focus on the offensive end, or by the way, whatever the hell that JT or Cherundolo tells him to do, right? Like, I want him, but it's no slight against him not being a leader, right? I think that Aaron Long being captain, all for it, because he's a different kind of leader, in my opinion. Mark Delgado, a different kind of leader than a Denis Bouanga, who Denis leads by example on the pitch. There's no doubt about it. And the way that he won, at least Philly and I over for sure, is when he literally got off of a plane flight from Siberia, folks, from Siberia. It was a 16 to 18-hour plane flight. He gets off the flight, goes into the stadium, laces up his boots, jogs onto the field, scores the game-winning goal, and goes home and showers. I'm sorry. That's all I needed to know about the kind of player that Denis Bouanga does. Denis Bouanga is. But my personal take is I don't want him as captain, only because I want him to focus on what he does. Philly.
Yeah, let the man score. 82 goals. He only needs 11 more to surpass Carlos Vela. Only needs 11 more, and he's going to get it during his time here. So literally, if you think that Denis Bouanga needs to go, what that tells me is that you're a moron and you have no business running a lemonade stand by yourself. You need to have parental supervision to do things like that because you are a nitwit. End quote.
I just pictured like a graphic of you and I running a lemonade stand together, and I think it's like in flames on the sides or something like that. I don't even know. Look, we know Wallace Jan, right down Broadway, moment of lapse from LAFC on defense. And look, how many times have we done it over the course of our 8 years? LAFC scores, we have a momentary lapse, and the other team scores right back again. It was very frustrating. I agree. It was very frustrating. Wallace Jan, right down Broadway, 3 or 4 defenders, no problem for Wallace Jan. It sucked. It sucked to go up 1-0 and think, oh my God, can we beat Flamengo? And to not even be able to get the notes out on the goal and to watch Wallace Jan score. And obviously, look, Eddie got megged and Ugo got caught flat by Alan in the couple of minutes later. Nothing else happened really in the game. Like, let's be real.
I don't know, Scarf. I mean, we almost dodged a bullet in the 88th. You talk about Eddie Segura. Alan, what?
I just talked about that. 89
Alan's
minutes.
shot?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Maybe I was too busy thinking about. Olivier Giroux says in the chat that I have some vodka in my Topo Chico bottle. Perhaps I had a momentary lapse there as I was imagining what this would taste like if it did in fact have vodka in it. It is. What day of the week is it? Oh, it's Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Happy hump day.
Look, Frankie Amaya, by the way, coming on for Mark Delgado, and Delgado looked like he was holding his back a little bit. I don't know.
Was it his back or his hammy?
Yeah, something back there, right? And then Olivier Giroux earns us a corner in the 90th minute, and all I could think of is, why does he run like I do? That's not good. Like he just looks terrible. Either way, Philly, nothing in stoppage time. Whistle blows. We got a draw against Flamengo in the Club World Cup, man. That is a great result. And I do believe LAFC at least left this Club World Cup with our head held high. We got a goal. We played our best match of the Club World Cup and luckiest against the best club. So that's all we can do. That's my personal opinion, Philly, leaving the Club World Cup.
Yeah, look, we weren't really supposed to be here in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it just sort of happened with a great opportunity, and we made the most of it. We beat Club America, which obviously was the big bulk of the bag, and then we managed to get a draw. We walk out with an extra $10.5 million. I know David Day asked in the chat where that money goes. It'll go towards players' salaries. It's not like we need to improve facilities. The pitch has been looking rather nice lately, and I give a shout out to our groundskeeper Gage for making that pitch as nice as it does. But that's where a lot of it's going to go. In some cases, I don't even know if a lot of the people in the front office know where it's going to go, possibly to lure in another DP. But look, we had a decent performance against Chelsea. An absolute nightmare versus Esperance. Not a game we should have won with the way we played, but certainly a game that we were the poorest in. Probably had the best shot in that if we really put out the performance that we could have had. We drew a talented Flamengo team who were on their way to meet Bayern in the next couple of days. And what a game that's going to be. What a game that would have been between LAFC and Bayern. Not a great performance, but still, like, we were capable of a lot, and hopefully we use this as a launch pad when we get back in MLS play to really move forward. It seems like it's been forever and a day since we've played in MLS, but keep in mind, season's not done yet. Yeah, it was a terrible tournament in a lot of respects, but we came out with a couple of bucks and some experience. We put in some really nice performances, and hopefully against Vancouver this weekend, we can pick up a dub against the number one team in the Western Conference and at least silence the Bluebirds and the doubters. And there's so many of them lately. And I just want to put one more thing into perspective before Scarf, you get to do your thing. Look, we bring up Chelsea. Their top three highest paid players cost more than our entire roster. A bit of perspective, and we played very well against them. Flamengo, one of the best teams in South America, period. At this point, top four, no question. They move on to the next round. But what makes you think we should have won every game? I mean, we are an MLS squad after all. You've got an MLS team going against a team that's won championships in Europe and South America, teams that dwarf us, and yet we held our own. Could we have played better? Yes, Launchpad McQuack. I like that. Hey, Mr. D, any crash you walk away from is a good crash. Could we have played better? Yes, because we are capable of that. But since many of you also believe that, it means that you have confidence in this team and its ability to win. Because if you thought that this coaching staff and roster was trash, you wouldn't be as pissed off as you are now. Part of you, while chirping away with the rest of the negative parrots, do believe that this team is capable of more. You just can't be pissed about this team's performance and think all the players across the board are trash because it's just plain stupid. The Steve out banter may continue, but if he goes, it'll be on his own accord. He's already declared his departure at the end of the season, and this might be polarizing, but he's earned that ability to walk away in the manner that he wants to. And if you have a problem with that, then it's going to be a really, really long season for you. And I would recommend following something else. I challenge you to find another team that's done more than LAFC has in its short existence. In fact, I dare you to find me a better team that has been as consistent and played for as many trophies the way that LAFC has since 2018. Look at all the finals we lost. We can't win the big games. Blah, blah, blah. Bailed Steve out. Such disrespect to sports in general, saying stupid shit like that. Scarf, you're going to have to bleep that out. Totally discredits every buzzer beater that won a game, every game-winning field goal or touchdown, every walk-off home run, every overtime goal. That's sports. Sometimes that's how it happens. A series of moments in gritty play that puts teams in those positions. When I hear crap like that, I know immediately that you haven't been an athlete and that you peaked in the 6th grade. All of this is an outlet. At the end of the day, none of us are getting paid or laid to support this team. We love it. We want it to be successful, but relax and enjoy the ride.
So a couple things. I was texting with somebody involved with LAFC. The part that blows both of us away, the person I was texting with and me, is that, guys, at the end of the day, we are an MLS club. And what that means is that, number one, we're governed by the dumbest rules about salary cap and roster composition of any league that wants to call itself one of the major leagues in the world. We are not a top 10 league in the world because of Don Garber. That's the problem. Because of Don Garber, because of the salary restrictions, because of the roster restrictions. Olivia, I love you so much right now. We are not an MLS club that is aspirationally an MLS club. We are aspirational on the world's stage. It is why we have made so many finals, because our owners, our front office, and everybody else get it. It is why we were able to play in this Club World Cup, because we continue to take swings, although in my opinion, not big enough sometimes. But in my opinion, people fall short of really understanding what this club is sometimes, because it's, if we don't win every match, then it's a poor showing on our club's part. And that's simply not true. Was Esperance an absolute horror show? Yes. Okay. We looked like crap against ES Tunis. But against Chelsea, honestly, you guys, we came to a gunfight with a butter knife, and a plastic one at that. And you know what we did? We held our own. We held our own against Chelsea. We had a couple of shots not go our way. It could have been 2-1 or 2-2. Of course, there's always a coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it really could have been 2-1 or 2-2. And yes, the soccer gods smiled upon us by De Arrascaeta hitting Philly's new favorite player while he posts a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But we played them to a standstill for 90 minutes. And if not for one defensive lapse, we take 3 points away from the team that looked the best that hadn't played Auckland City in the entire Club World Cup. So I'm consistently blown away by the expectations that are unrealistic from so many of our supporters. And it's not, by the way, that en las buenas y en las malas, that doesn't mean we always just support and we're happy and that everything is great. What it means is we absolutely can and should feel the obligation to take this club to task in whatever way, if it's the front office, if it's the players, if it's the coach, if it's the supporters, whomever. When we are not doing LAFC aspirational things, the club should be taken to task. But other than that, take a second and get out of your own vacuum for a minute. Get off Twitter and actually start watching the games and see what happened in this Club World Cup. We had one very gritty, tough loss of a performance, one lucky but fantastic performance against Flamengo, and an absolute deuce against Tunis. Go back and look at every other team's Club World Cup. You think the Boca Juniors fans right now are loving their team showing in the Club World Cup?
We know Porto's fans don't.
It is unbelievable to say that this club performed any differently over the course of their 3 matches than most of the other clubs. It's just that, again, our payroll, according to Transfer Market, is like 46 million euros. When we're going up against players like Philly just talked about that are worth 46 million euros. It was a good but not great showing in the Club World Cup. And that's all I have to say. I'm done.
Yeah. Now that that's behind us, we set our sights forward and onward with MLS. We've got a lot of games to make up for, that we do, and we're going to have a real nice test this upcoming weekend against a team that is very good. I know years ago, we used to, not even that long ago, we used to poke fun at the fact that, oh, great, we've got to play flipping Vancouver again. But you know what? Geez, I'm just looking at this right now. San Diego's whooping up on Vancouver 4-1. So that's going to make Sunday's game even more interesting. Are we going to continue to batter and bruise them? Or are they going to come in with a chip on their shoulders? One thing's for sure: if San Diego is winning against Vancouver 4-1 in the manner that they're doing, that's another team that is for real, shockingly enough. Let's see if they start to have a dwindle effect like St. Louis did when they won the West, but essentially needed what their performance was in the first half of the season to hang on to that. Plenty more to play for, plenty of cool stuff to happen. And again, this is supposed to be fun. Take a deep breath. Don't let it anger you so much. And as I've said time and time again, if you can't demand excellence from complete strangers if you can't demand it from yourself. Perhaps that's people projecting that they're miserable and they want the thing that they love to progress. Focus on your joy before putting everything into all of this. I bleed this stuff too. But at the end of the day, we're not getting paid or laid for any of this. We enjoy it. It's an outlet. We love it, and we want to support it, and we will continue to do so. And that's all, again, I have to say. I'm quite opinionated on a lot of fronts. And when I say if it doesn't get you paid or laid, it doesn't matter. That's a mantra I've lived by for a long time. But now that I'm married, the only part of it that I utilize is if it doesn't get me paid, I don't care.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble with that other one.
Look, it's cheaper to keep her in a community property state like California.
This, oh boy, this has been a really fun last 3 episodes. If we're being completely honest, we got to talk about Chelsea, Flamengo.
Yeah.
And yes, it has. I know we have to clip that other one, but yes, we got to talk about Chelsea, Flamengo, and North Africa's best team that they've got going on right now. So again, thank you all for joining us on episode 367. Philly and I are going to go host another podcast called Soccer in 60 right after this. I got like 15 minutes. Cool. To do some research and everything.
Now you don't. This might be a longer one because the Rapids and the Galaxy have just kicked off.
Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to do with all that. We'll figure it out afterwards. But you guys, thank you to everybody in the chat. I know a lot of people disagree or agree with us. I absolutely love it. And look, whoever has the Olivier Giroud burner account, thank you. It just makes it a little bit more fun. Fluffhead, I got you. We'll talk. I saw your DM or your not DM, but your direct mention there. So, all right, we love you all, and you know how we like to end each and every one of these podcasts.
Bye-bye.